Well, let's start with the latest. We just received an early detection alert on our phones from the Israeli or the Home Front Command. Basically, we are expecting sirens and air raid sirens to go off any minute now. What this early detection alert tells us that Iran has launched a number of missiles in the direction of Israel. We don't know the exact location of where they are headed, but we should maybe, while we're on air, hear the sirens go off. It's been a busy night, Adnan, for the Israeli air defense systems, the multi-layered ones. About 7 or 8 waves of Iranian missiles were launched in the direction of Israel, and that kept the Israeli air defense systems busy overnight. What was interesting is that one of those missiles that exploded over central Israel near Tel Aviv here is a missile that produces cluster rockets or bombs, sub munitions or sub bombs, and those are 2.5 kilos each in size, and create widespread damage across an area of about 8 kilometers or so. And Israel says that it's faced this missile in the past, but this is probably the 3rd or 4th time that Iran has used this advanced Khaybar Shikan missile, which means or translates to a bunker buster in this war. In the last 7 days, this is a relatively new missile in Iran's stockpile. It was made or started to be manufactured back in 2022, and one of the most, if not the most advanced Iranian missiles. So far, according to the Israeli authorities, nearly 1,600 Israelis have been taken to the hospital. So, as expected, Adnan.
Do you need to go indoors? Mohammed, obviously you need to make a decision about whether you can stay on air with us.
We're okay for now. Let me just stand a little bit. Give me. As I said, this will last for about a minute or so, and then after that we should start hearing the interceptors as well as the explosions as a result of these.
Mohammed, can I just ask you a question? Would people advised? Are people advised to take shelter before the sirens sound? For example, in the tower blocks behind you, would there be shelters below all of those buildings?
In most, if not all, Israeli Jewish majority towns and cities, yes, there are shelters either in the buildings, like the building we have here. You can go down to a shelter, or there are public shelters. And this is one of the things that Iranians seem to be counting on, that the longer Israelis stay in their homes as a result of these sirens, and they're pretty much prisoners to their own homes, they have to stay close to, let me see if there are any interceptors here. It sounds like it. Yeah. Yeah, Israelis have been since last Saturday, staying very close to shelters, millions of them, and that is one of the things that are going to create a great deal of criticism and pressure on Netanyahu if his war continues longer than the 2-3 weeks or 4 weeks that people are talking about here. I was out on the streets of Tel Aviv yesterday in the afternoon, and I spoke to that's an intense sound of either explosion or
yeah, there was certainly a boom there. So there's one car on the street, Mohammed. How is Tel Aviv even functioning?
There's hardly anyone, Adnan, on the street.
Yeah. I mean, how is Tel Aviv even functioning while it's under threat like this?
Yeah, there are several interceptors. Unfortunately, we can't show you those because we are under military censorship, but I can maybe try to describe what I'm seeing. White flare, and I can tell you that this is one of the most intense interceptors or interception that I have seen since the war began. I will let the mic speak and the camera also speak. Let's just listen to some of the sound around us. Adnan, this is intense. And I'm saying this because of the number of interceptors or rockets intercepts these Iranian missiles that have been fired. This is far more than I have seen in the 7 days that we've been covering. There may have been elsewhere, but I can tell you that this is probably the most intense in terms of sound of interceptors locking with the missiles, and the successive or a series of explosions like this one. And the sky is, even though we have blue skies this morning, but it's now full of white smoke as a result of these explosions that are taking place above us. And this has taken also longer than what we are accustomed to. Normally, it takes about 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and it's over.
Are the explosions that we just heard,
explosions.
Are those explosions the interceptors exploding just ahead of the rocket? Or is it the interceptor actually hitting the rocket?
Hitting the rocket. I believe that most of those, if not all, are the sound of the interceptors locking in or directly hitting the rockets. And this has been also another headache for the Israeli public and the Israeli police force and authorities here, because when the interceptor had... It's very interesting that the explosions are continuing, Adnan. Normally they don't last this long, but that tells us that this... I hope that you can hear what I'm hearing here. That means this must have been a larger number of missiles, also covering a large period. They don't have to be in the middle of Tel Aviv, given how quiet it has been, and something that you alluded to. Hardly anyone out on the street in Tel Aviv, and hardly anyone has been out for almost a week here in Tel Aviv. It's a ghost city, and those who know Tel Aviv, they know how busy it is, traffic jam all the time, and the explosions are still continuing. So what I was trying to say is that when these interceptors hit these missiles, the shrapnels as a result of this explosion or direct impact between an interceptor and the missile falls on the streets, and sometimes they hit people, like we've seen in Bnei Brak a few days ago, as well as in Petah Tikva, but also they hit buildings, and that creates casualties in terms of human casualties, but also creates physical and material damage. But the most impact, I believe, is the psychological warfare or impact that Iran is counting or gambling on. It's betting on that, yes, Iran may not be firing as many missiles, and these missiles may not be hitting their targets, having a direct impact, but having this kind of scene that we just witnessed on live TV, where people ran to the shelters, the all clear didn't even come out yet, and this is happening several times during the day. How much can Israelis take this in? How long can they accept this kind of lifestyle? No one knows. Some say maybe 3 to 4 weeks, but it is definitely another intense wave of Iranian missiles, and if we add it to the 7 or 8 that we've heard over the since midnight, this will make it about 9 at this point, and I can tell you one of the most intense waves of Iranian missiles that I have heard and seen in terms of also reaction from the Israeli air defense systems since the war began, Adnan.
Stay safe, Mohammed. We'll be checking in with you throughout the day, of course. Thank you very much indeed from Tel Aviv.